Welcome back. Tonight we're diving into some of the most dramatic Reddit stories. Toxic family, crazy roommates, and people who completely lost their minds. Sit back, relax, and let's begin. I made my boyfriend a Tinder account to boost his confidence, and it completely backfired. Okay, so this actually happened in the last couple of weeks. Basically, my boyfriend suffers from pretty low self-esteem. It's not that he's super insecure about his looks, but he rates himself a 5 out of 10 at best. Obviously, I think he's gorgeous, and I've been telling him that for years, but he still doesn't believe me. So, for some stupid reason, I decided to show him that other girls would find him attractive by making him a Tinder account. I set him up an account, wrote him a bio, and just started swiping right. After one day, he got around a dozen matches. When I showed him, he immediately became more confident and thanked me for the whole gesture. Then, a couple of days later, I checked the Tinder account again. I had basically forgotten about it after 24 hours. And I could see lots of messages that had been sent to lots of the girls he had matched with. I confronted him and he denied it, but the messages even included plans to meet up. Obviously, we broke up. Out of curiosity, I checked the Tinder account again a week later, and this breakup clearly hasn't slowed him down one bit. So now the Tinder account I made for him not only broke us up, but is currently helping him navigate his newly single life. TLDR, I made a Tinder account for my boyfriend to prove that he is attractive, and he ended up ditching me for one of the girls he matched with. Edit. Wow, I did not expect this to blow up. Thank you so much for the awards and for your kind words. It honestly touches me how lovely thousands of strangers can be. Also, if anyone needs help with their Tinder, hit me up. Apparently I'm pretty good at it. My classmate is trying to blackmail me into writing her entire thesis. I'm at my wit's end with this messed up situation involving a fellow student named Danielle. I'll keep some details vague because a lot of my friends use Reddit. Danielle and I are both in college working on our bachelor's degrees. We started out as friends, but the relationship got weird. She often acted entitled and expected me to cater to her every need. She would also scream at me, especially when we were out partying. Because of that, I decided to stop spending time with her around last Christmas. However, during the 2 years we were friends, she learned a lot of personal things about me, things that could get me into serious trouble. I hadn't talked to her in a few months, but I heard she was struggling to keep up with her courses. A few weeks ago, she showed up at my place, drunk, and told me she expects me to write her entire thesis. A 50-page paper that has to be submitted by July and is crucial for finishing our degree, or she will tell everyone, including the police, about the things she knows. And yes, she claims she has proof. I thought it was a stupid joke or that she was just extremely drunk, until I came home yesterday and found a note from her saying the exact same thing, along with a USB stick containing her working title and some ebooks she wants me to include. Reddit, what do I do? Write the whole thing for her? Refuse and risk her going to the authorities? I can't really risk that. She could get me in serious trouble. One friend told me to write it, but write it badly. I'm not sure that's a good idea. On top of that, I still have to finish my own thesis, and I'm not even sure I could write hers in time. TLDR. A fellow college student knows things about me that could get me into serious trouble. She is now demanding I write her 50-page thesis or she'll report me. How do I handle this? Edit. I was hoping I wouldn't have to explain what happened, but here it is. I had a short relationship with one of the assistant professors. He didn't know I was a student at the time. It was a complicated situation. I also got access to some exam materials and shared them with several friends, including Danielle. Her proof is an email with the attachment. I sent it from a spam email address that doesn't have my name on it, but I'm worried it could still be traced. In her note, she specifically accuses me of this, so I'm very reluctant to show it to anyone. Coming clean to the university would almost certainly get me expelled. I invited my girlfriend on an expensive family vacation and expected her to pay her own share. Hello. My girlfriend, myself, my parents, and my brother and his wife all went on vacation in another country a week ago. My brother and I did most of the planning of the itinerary, although we did ask everyone else for input. For background, I make around $150,000 as an IT consultant. My girlfriend is a teacher making $45,000. My parents are pretty affluent, as are my brother and sister-in-law. My girlfriend knew this trip was coming up and took on a second job waitressing on the weekends for several months to get ready for it. We have always split things 50-50ths in the 2 years we've been together. There were a few times on the vacation when she did not go on the outings with us, things like wine tasting, scuba diving, etc. She also would only eat 2 meals a day, simply stating that she was on a budget. My family tends to prefer more high-end, expensive places. My parents thought it was very strange that she only ate 2 meals a day, since normally she eats 3. When we got home, I asked her why she skipped several of the outings and only ate 2 meals a day. I mentioned how I heard her stomach growling one night and said I was concerned she might have an eating disorder. She got teary-eyed and said that 3 meals a day wasn't financially possible for her, and neither were the outings she chose not to go on. She went on 3 out of 6. She said she wasn't expecting everything to cost so much and that she felt overwhelmed. She also said she doesn't know if this is going to work long-term if she's expected to go on vacations like that with people who make so much more than her. I feel bad that I didn't pick up on her discomfort sooner. But we did agree to split everything 50-50ths, and I don't know why she agreed to come if the cost was going to be such an issue. I refused to go to my sister's wedding because she hired my ex. For some context, I was engaged to my now ex for 7 years. We broke up about 2 years ago for a lot of reasons, including financial and emotional abuse. Things didn't end amicably, and we've been completely no contact ever since. Fast forward to this week. My sister has been planning her wedding for the last year and is set to get married on the 16th. Today, I met with her to go over some last-minute details about the rehearsal dinner when she casually told me that my ex would be there taking pictures, because he is a professional photographer. I was completely taken aback and didn't know what to say at first. I ended up leaving in a rush because when I expressed my concern, she said, "It's not a big deal," and basically told me to get over it. I'm attaching the messages we sent after I left so you can see how she's dismissing me. The hardest part is that she saw everything firsthand. We lived together with my ex for about a year, so she knows exactly what I had to deal with and how hard it was to leave that long-term relationship. And yet she still doesn't seem to understand that no matter how much time has passed, I do not want to be around this person. The fact that she waited so long to mention it makes me think she knew I wouldn't be okay with it and deliberately waited until it was too late for me to do anything about it. Am I overreacting for considering not going? Everything has already been paid for and the wedding is only a week away, so I feel partially obligated. But at the same time, I don't want to spend 2 whole days being watched by someone who mistreated me so badly. I gave my girlfriend an ultimatum because her newly single best friend basically moved into our apartment. Hey guys, right now I'm still getting texts from my girlfriend and we're still fighting, but I wanted to take a moment to post this because I meant to do it days ago and completely forgot. So for some context, I, 24M, live with my girlfriend, who we'll call Kelly, 23F. I've been renting our first apartment together for about 8 months, and she moved in with me. I know some people think we should be married first, but I've known her for years and I trusted her enough. At least until recently. Things were great until her childhood best friend, Jude, 23M, became a problem. Kelly and Jude have a history of not respecting boundaries. I've heard this from one of their mutual friends and I've noticed it myself at times. It was never this bad before because Jude had a girlfriend who kept him busy. Around 3 weeks ago, Jude and his girlfriend broke up. Since then, my life has been a nightmare. Jude can't handle being alone, so he uses our apartment as his personal hangout spot. He comes over every day around 2 p.m., stays through dinner, and doesn't leave until late at night. Our routine is completely ruined. If I want to watch Netflix with my girlfriend, Jude is already on the couch. If I try to cook dinner for her, he's sitting at the table eating our food. I haven't had any real alone time with Kelly since he broke up with his girlfriend. I've tried to be patient because I know Jude is heartbroken, and I've been through a breakup myself. But it's getting completely out of hand. I feel like a guest in my own home. Last night, he was still on our couch at 11 p.m. scrolling through his ex's Instagram. I hinted to Kelly that it was time for him to leave. She ignored me, So I told Jude it was late and that I had an early morning. Jude looked hurt and left. The second he was gone, Kelly turned on me and completely lost it. She said I wasn't being nice or empathetic and that I didn't care about Jude's feelings. I told her there's a difference between supporting a friend and letting him take over our relationship and our space. I pay half the rent to live with her, not to have a third roommate permanently. The argument got worse. I finally told her she needs to set boundaries with Jude, or I won't let him come over at all. Kelly then decided to call me toxic. This morning I was added to her group chat, and her friends are roasting me, saying I'm a horrible partner and cold-hearted. Almost no one is on my side except my parents and a few friends who don't know her. I feel like I'm going crazy. I don't think I'm asking for much. Just some days where my home actually feels like my home, and I can be alone with my girlfriend. Am I overreacting? Should I ask my daughter's boyfriend to stop having dinner with us? My daughter, 21, has been dating this guy, 24, for 2 years. It's a fairly serious relationship. He is from Mexico and has been in the US since he was 3 years old. He has a strange phobia of not wanting anyone to see him eat. And it's real. I've literally never seen him put a single bite of food in his mouth, even though we've spent a fair amount of time around him. He is thin, but he doesn't look unhealthy. The problem is that we take them out to dinner occasionally for holidays or special occasions. He always orders a full meal. He will cut up the food, push it around on the plate, but he doesn't eat any of it. After the meal, he donates his leftovers to someone else. It's even worse when I make home-cooked meals and they come over for dinner. He does the same thing, takes a full plate of food, pushes it around, cuts it up, makes it look like he's eaten some of it, but doesn't actually eat anything. Then he scrapes all of the food into the trash afterward. I'm starting to get really frustrated over this. He wastes a huge amount of food, and I can't stand the money being wasted when we buy him expensive restaurant meals that go completely uneaten. It's even caused a few awkward scenes with waiters asking him if something is wrong with the food or if they need to change his order. I've talked to my daughter privately and said, if he doesn't want to eat, that's fine. Just tell him to stop taking full plates of food and ordering in restaurants. Her response was, but in his culture it's considered rude for him not to take food. I'm not going to ask him to do that, but I find it incredibly rude that he is willing to keep wasting our money. Food isn't cheap. Would I be wrong for just announcing that he is no longer invited to meals? I didn't attend my daughter's gender reveal party for her lizard. This is literally really stupid, but she's really upset about it. I'm 48 and my daughter is 23. She has a blue-tongued skink that she heavily adores. She jokingly refers to it as her daughter. I've always found it a bit weird, but she says it's the closest thing she'll ever have to a child and that she feels a strong emotional bond with it. She has decided to remain child-free for multiple reasons, and I have been supportive of that decision. Recently, she took her skink to the vet for a checkup and found out its gender. Afterwards, I got a text asking if I would come to a gender reveal party she was having. She explained it was just a small get-together with cake and food for friends she hadn't seen in a while, and that the gender reveal part was mostly a joke and a way to make fun of real gender reveals. I didn't go. I didn't see the point. It's just a lizard and I'm a busy person. She later called me and said she was kind of sad I didn't come because it had been a while since she'd seen me, but that she understood I was busy. I told her she couldn't actually expect me to come to a gender reveal for a lizard. She said that it wasn't a real gender reveal, that was more of a joke, and that it was really just a small gathering to catch up with everyone. I told her if that was the case, she should have just called it a gathering, because I'm not coming to a gender reveal unless it's for a real granddaughter. She got quiet for a minute and then turned my words around, claiming I wasn't supportive of her decision to be child-free. I told her she can't possibly expect me to treat a lizard like a granddaughter. She said she didn't expect me to, but it was clear I didn't respect her bond with her lizard or her decision, and that she just wanted to see me. My reason for not coming was hurtful to her. I told her she was being ridiculous over a lizard. She claimed it wasn't over the lizard and that the gathering wasn't even centered around it. But I stick by what I said, it's ridiculous to have a gender reveal for a lizard. She hung up, And I later got a message from her best friend saying I'm an asshole for treating her that way. I don't think I'm the asshole for not wanting to go to a party for a lizard. Edit/clarifications. My issue is that she called the party a gender reveal. If she had just called it a party, I would have come. Calling it a gender reveal makes it sound like it's for the lizard. And I'm not going to that even if it's a joke. The skink is a girl, which is why I said, I'm not coming to a gender reveal unless it's for a real granddaughter. Even though I don't fully agree with her decision to be child-free, I have been supportive and only shown mild frustration. Her reasons include being asexual, simply not wanting children, emotional baggage, fear of pregnancy, and carrying a genetic issue that runs in our family. I had multiple miscarriages and a child who passed away young due to that gene. There has been slight tension because I sometimes think she just hasn't found the right person yet. But ultimately it's her decision and I don't resent her for it. We hadn't seen each other in 3 months. I'm a single mother and we've always been close, which is why she invited me along with her friends. I just didn't want to go to a party centered around a lizard. My wife's friend insulted her, so I've been slowly returning the favor. So my wife's friend got married a couple of years ago. She made it a 3-day-long event with multiple meals and 2 ceremonies, each with different dress codes. Day 1 was a dinner that started at 9 p.m. and lasted 3 hours. Afterward, she tried to force everyone to go dancing. We joined for the meal, but since it was a weekday, we told her we couldn't stay for dancing. The next day at her brunch, she told us how much fun they had dancing and how even the old people and children went. I just brushed it off and smiled. Then 2 different ceremonies happened that same day. Finally, the whole event was supposed to end with another brunch on the 3rd day. By this point, we were exhausted. We're not big party people, but we wanted to be nice and participate. So the morning before the final brunch, we got up early, put on our 4th outfit of the event, and my wife did her hair and makeup again. For the 4th time. We showed up to the brunch. Her friend greets us and says, "Oh, hi babe. Wow, you look comfy," with this judgmental tone, as if my wife hadn't tried hard enough, which was nonsense. My wife tries her best to brush it off and says it was just stress from the wedding that made her friend act that way the entire time. But I've decided her friend is just a rude person, and I've been slowly paying her back for years. Since then, at various gatherings, I've given her the following compliments. I love how you don't care about vanity. Just go with that natural look and who cares what people think. You look super comfy. I've said variations of this one several times. I wish I could have your attitude about arriving whenever, but I always have to show up on time for things. And so on. The best part is watching the gears turn in her head as she tries to figure out whether I'm actually being complimentary or not. I plan to keep doing this until this person is no longer in our lives, or one of us dies. Edit. Holy cow, this blew up. You all have given me some incredible new lines. I'm gonna spend the next hour converting them into a note on my phone. Can't wait to see her next. I'll report back in a few months with an update. I disinvited a friend from my birthday after she showed me the cake she was bringing. Hi guys, using a throwaway for this one. I'm 17F and having my 18th birthday at my house. It's just a small dinner with my closest friends. I told everyone they could bring food if they wanted, but I was planning to do a little barbecue and order some pizza. My guy friend Ryan asked if he could bring his new girlfriend, Emily. I said sure, since he was gonna leave early anyway. She offered to make food and I told her that would be really nice, but she didn't have to. She insisted. I made a group chat with everyone who was coming and invited Emily to it. I sent a message about arrival time, dress code, and most importantly, allergies. I have a friend coming with a really serious nut allergy. I've never seen them have a reaction, but I've been told it gets pretty bad. I wrote in the message to triple check that any food doesn't contain nuts and to be careful about cross-contamination. Everyone read the message. Some replied. Emily left a thumbs up. Last night Emily and I were talking and she mentioned the food she had made. I asked her to show me a picture. It was a cake that looked exactly like something my mom used to make, and it contained nuts. I asked if it had nuts and she said yes, but not a lot. and that my friend could just not eat the cake. I told her I'd rather she didn't bring it. She got mad and said she'd gone through the trouble of making the cake, so she was either bringing it or she wasn't coming. I told her then she wasn't coming, because I had been very clear about the allergy and about checking for cross-contamination. Why would I allow a whole cake with nuts? She said it was disrespectful to disinvite her and that she's Ryan's girlfriend, so if he's going, she's going. I told her no. It's my party, and I didn't want her there anymore because she was acting childish. She stopped texting me. Then Ryan called and said I was being a massive jerk and that she had spent ages on the cake. I said I didn't care how long it took her to make it. I had been specific from the beginning about what could and couldn't be brought. The only thing not allowed was anything with nuts. I also asked if she was unable to read a simple message and if she really didn't know any other cake recipe. He called me names and hung up. Ryan is now telling everyone that he and Emily aren't coming because I called them names and rejected her cake. A lot of friends, mostly ones who weren't even invited, are saying it was wrong of me to let her make something and then uninvite her, and that she put effort into that cake for my birthday. Only 3 people are saying I'm not the asshole, and one of them is the friend with the nut allergy. My party is tomorrow and I just want some perspective before then. Edits for clarity. The cake is more of a sponge-style treat cake, not a typical frosted birthday cake. I did thank her when she first offered to bring a cake. I told her it was really sweet of her. The friend with the allergy is a guy. My friend's allergy can be serious enough that airborne exposure is a real concern. I am Australian, and lad is a common casual term here used for both guys and girls. My girlfriend said she's not in a relationship, while I was sitting right next to her. Recently me, 18M, and my girlfriend, 18F, went to a Halloween party. I was already uncomfortable with her going because a bunch of her coworkers were going to be there, and some of them tried to flirt with her even while at work. While we were there, she got very drunk very fast. She's a lightweight. In a room full of her guy coworkers, my girlfriend and I were sitting together. The one coworker that I specifically told her I really don't like was also sitting right next to her. So it was me, her, and him. She touched his leg to get his attention so he would play a drinking game with her. It honestly made me feel terrible, but it was a drinking game and I was the sober driver, so I tried to let it go. Suddenly 2 girls came rushing into the room asking if people wanted to play spin the bottle. They said, "Who wants to play spin the bottle? You can't play if you're in a relationship though." My girlfriend proceeds to say, loud and clear in front of everyone, "I'm not." I could hear the guy coworkers reacting in disbelief, and they were all kind of smiling. I don't know how to feel. It honestly hurt my feelings a lot, especially now knowing she's been Snapchatting that same guy coworker I can't stand. They snapped each other 6 times in one day, which was today. I feel disrespected. I don't know what to do. I've already tried to break things off once, but it was really hard and I took it back because she was crying a lot. From the start, I promised her I would stay until the end, but I don't know if I can keep doing this if I keep getting disrespected. Update. Thank you all for your opinions and support. I really appreciate it. It's going to be over between us, and thankfully all of you have helped me see it more clearly. This was my first relationship, so thank you for the honest advice. Have a good day, and again, thank you. I'm 16 and feel like I have no life. I am a 16-year-old student from Scotland, and this summer has been one of the loneliest times of my life. I haven't really been able to enjoy it because I constantly feel left out. The people I consider my friends don't seem to care about me as much as I care about them. At the start of summer, I decided to stop talking to everyone for a while. When I secretly got my phone back later, I honestly thought at least one person would have checked up on me or asked if I was okay. Instead, the only messages I received were from people who were annoyed that I had broken our Snapchat streaks. That hurt more than I expected, because it made me feel like the streak mattered more than I did. Maybe my expectations are too high, but I don't think it's wrong to want genuine friendship. I wish I had someone who checked up on me, stood by my side, gave me honest advice, and genuinely cared about how I was doing. I don't just want someone to care about me, I want to be that person for them too. At school, I'm usually on my own. During lessons, I rely on myself most of the time. I can talk to my classmates, but they rarely start conversations with me first. It often feels like if I stopped speaking, nobody would notice. I wish someone would choose to talk to me without me always having to make the first move. Another thing that's been on my mind is becoming smarter. I want to learn more, improve myself, and prove to myself and everyone else that I'm not dumb. I studied as hard as I could for my exams and answered every question to the best of my ability. My results come out on the 4th of August, and I'm terrified. I'm scared that if I don't do well, my parents, relatives, and even my parents' friends will think I'm stupid or useless. One of the things that helps me escape is anime. My favorite genre is romance, and my favorite romance anime is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Since the summer of 2024, I've spent a lot of time watching romance anime. The reason is simple. I don't crave lust. I crave love. I want to know what it feels like to be genuinely cared for and appreciated. I want someone to show me they love me through their actions, not just their words, because actions mean far more to me than empty words. The difficult part is that I'm Muslim, and I know dating before marriage goes against my beliefs. I respect my religion, but that doesn't stop me from wishing I could experience the comfort of having someone who truly understands me. Sometimes I watch these stories because they give me a feeling I don't have in real life, even if it's only for a little while. Looking back, I feel like I've spent far too much of the last 2 years lying in bed watching anime. It comforts me, but it has also become a way of escaping reality. Deep down, I really want something genuine. I can't fully describe this feeling, but any suggestions would be helpful. The fact that I can't even understand my own heart tells me how disconnected I've become from everything. I also don't think I've truly figured out who I am yet. I don't know where to begin or how I'm meant to move forward. Sometimes it feels like everyone else has their life figured out while I'm standing still, trying to understand myself. If anyone has any advice, I would genuinely appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to read all of this. I questioned my entire relationship after what my boyfriend said about a murdered teenager. My boyfriend and I are a newer couple, together almost 2 months. And we just got into what feels like our biggest argument yet. We've been arguing on and off all week and everything has felt off. For some background, we've had similar arguments before. He says I don't let him joke around or be himself, but I honestly don't see it that way. We joke around together all the time. The only things I've ever asked him not to do are use a specific slur I don't like, casually say violent things while gaming or joking, and now this situation. Every time one of those things comes up, it turns into me tripping over everything he says or not letting him be himself. Even though I feel like those are reasonable boundaries. The argument started while we were on a call sitting in silence. A widely known court case involving a teenage girl who was groomed, assaulted, and murdered by an adult has been in the news. Out of nowhere, my boyfriend referred to her in a very disrespectful way because information came out that she had lied about her age when she was much younger. I immediately told him I didn't think that was okay and asked if that was truly how he saw the situation. He kept arguing that lying about her age was stupid and eventually said it was both of their faults. I told him that yes, lying about your age is wrong, but a child is not responsible for what an adult chooses to do. The adult was the adult. He was the one who chose to harm her. I specifically asked if he was saying she shared responsibility for what happened to her, and he doubled down that it was both of their faults because she lied about her age. Instead of continuing the conversation, he hung up and texted me. The discussion shifted into him saying I was getting mad over a case that has nothing to do with either of us, that he didn't even do anything wrong, that I trip over literally anything he says, and that he feels like he can't be himself around me. I explained that this wasn't about controlling him. I wasn't asking him to stop joking or stop cursing. I was asking why he felt the need to defend calling a murdered child a disrespectful name and saying she shared responsibility for what happened to her. What has me stuck isn't even the disagreement anymore. It's what this says about the way he thinks. I have an 11-year-old sister, and all I can think about is if something horrible like that ever happened to her. I can't imagine hearing someone say, well, it's both of their faults. Then my mind went further. If we ever had a daughter and something like that happened to her, Would he really look at his own child and think she shared the blame because she lied about her age? I honestly don't think he would, which makes me wonder if it's just easier to blame victims when you don't know them personally. To me, you shouldn't have to know someone to have empathy for them. The fact that he could look at a child who was harmed in this way and still find room to blame her, even a little, genuinely changed the way I see him. It's made me question whether we have fundamentally different values, and I don't know if that's something I can move past. Am I overreacting for feeling like this is bigger than just a disagreement? Update. First of all, thank you to everyone who took the time to read and comment. I genuinely didn't expect this much attention. I read every single comment. Some of you were incredibly kind. Some of you were brutally honest. Some of you were harsh. But I had to remember I came here for outside perspectives, and you gave me exactly that. I'm not going to be one of those people who posts, gets told to leave, and then stays anyway. I am gone. I think I already knew what I was going to do before I even posted this. For some reason, I convinced myself I needed hundreds of strangers to validate the decision. But I don't. One thing this experience taught me is that I don't need to build a case against someone just to justify leaving. I don't need evidence or a vote. If something changes the way I see someone and I can't move past it, that is enough. As the emotions settled, I started asking myself all the wrong questions. Did I explain it well enough? Could I have handled it better? Was I overreacting? Then I realized I was avoiding the only question that actually mattered. Am I okay with what he said? No, absolutely not. Calling a murdered child a disrespectful name. Saying she was partially responsible for what happened to her. Doubling down instead of understanding why that was so upsetting. Then turning it into how I supposedly don't let him be himself. That is not the kind of person I want to build a future with. I deserve someone whose first instinct is empathy. Someone whose values align more closely with mine. Someone who doesn't make me feel like I have to argue just to be understood. A lot of your comments also helped me realize this wasn't about one conversation. It was about a pattern. Every time I tried to explain why something hurt me, I somehow ended up defending why I was hurt and even apologizing. That's exhausting, and I'm not interested in spending more of my life explaining why I deserve basic understanding and respect. I genuinely hope he learns from this. I hope one day he reflects on what he said. But I won't be around waiting for it. Life is too short to spend it hoping someone eventually becomes the person you need when they've already shown you who they are. Thank you again to everyone who commented. Whether you agreed with me or challenged me, many of you helped me put words to feelings I couldn't fully explain on my own. And one last thing. Rest in peace, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Absolutely nothing that happened to her was her fault. She was failed by the adult who chose to harm her. She should still be here. She deserved to grow up, make memories, chase her dreams, and live the life that was taken from her. I hope she receives the justice she deserves, and I hope she's remembered with the kindness and compassion every child deserves. My boyfriend won't stop bringing up the attack I went through, even though I asked him not to. I'm 22F and have been with my boyfriend for the last 7 months. It's honestly been pretty great. He's very attentive, good at communicating, and I've always loved how he tries to empathize with me. But lately I feel like he's taking it a little too far. Last month, a client at work had been harassing and stalking me for a while. It eventually escalated into a physical attack. I'll spare the details, but it ended with him being arrested and left me with some emotional baggage. Physically, my injuries were minor and healed within a couple of weeks. I've been in therapy to manage the aftermath. One thing I really want is to just move forward and not dwell on it. That's how I deal with things. I've already spent enough time talking about it and venting to people around me. Now I'd like some normalcy and to focus on the future. My boyfriend was nothing but supportive at first. But now he keeps coddling me in a way that feels overwhelming. Every single day, several times a day without fail. He brings up details and memories of what happened, even though I've explicitly asked him not to. He just responds with, "But you're traumatized. It's good to talk. I've been talking to my therapist. I have an outlet and guidance." I told him I don't need this from him. but he got upset. He also tells new people I meet about what happened, unprompted, and tells them to be gentle with me because I've experienced significant trauma. It's like I can never move on from this when he's around, and it's starting to feel suffocating. I can tell it's not coming from a place of malice. He's not capable of intentionally hurting people, but it's frustrating being told how I should be managing the aftermath of my experience. What's so wrong about wanting to put it behind me? He also follows me everywhere. He drops me off at work and picks me up, which I do appreciate. But he also shows up at hangouts with my friends, to my parents' house when I visit, and even just when I'm running errands. He's always around for my safety, and he keeps bringing up those details. I'm kind of at my wit's end, but I also feel a little crazy for finding his version of care so suffocating. Am I overreacting? I'm 8 months pregnant and my husband left me alone for a full week. I am currently 8 months pregnant with my first baby, and it has been a tough pregnancy to say the least. I'm working upwards of 50 hours a week, in a lot of pain on a daily basis, and overall exhausted. My husband has taken over many of the household duties while I've been pregnant, cleaning the house, taking care of the dogs, and so on. Before I was pregnant, things were probably split 70/30ths with me doing more of the housework, but that was never an issue for us. I'm just noting that he has taken on a lot since I've had such a hard pregnancy, and I have been very verbally grateful for that. My husband just found out his grandfather is dying of cancer. He has been slowly losing mobility and speech over the last few years and is 95 years old, but has now been given about 6 months to live. My OB said it was not a good idea for me to fly at this point in the pregnancy, so I encouraged him to take a trip to go see his grandfather one more time. Before checking with my OB, we were planning a 2-day weekend trip to go see him together. I assumed that when my husband went on his own, it would still just be over the weekend. Instead, my husband planned a full week-long trip, without asking me, to go back home, see his parents, high school and college friends, and is only seeing his grandfather for one single day. Am I overreacting for being upset that he has left me at home for an entire week, 8 months pregnant, with suddenly all of the household duties to handle by myself? I'm trying to be reasonable. I 100% want him to see his grandfather and I support that. But I feel deceived and upset that he has turned this into a big trip back home where he's mostly seeing other people, while leaving me to handle everything alone for a week. I'm currently 4 days into it and I'm so beyond exhausted between working, keeping up with the house, taking care of myself, and making sure our pets are alive and well cared for. TLDR, husband and I planned a short 2-day trip to see his dying grandfather. My doctor said I can't fly at 8 months pregnant, so he booked an entire week back home by himself to see parents and old friends, and is only seeing his grandfather for 1 day, while leaving me with all the housework during a very difficult pregnancy. Am I overreacting?